first one I made 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning. I'd like to call the regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. It is Monday, excuse me, July 21st. It is now 8:35. I'd like to ask Selectman Haver to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Flag behind us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Charles. Second order of business is public forum, limited to 3 minutes on any agenda item. I don't see any public in attendance, so we'll move on, excuse me, to item 3, approval of the minutes. We have 3 sets of minutes to approve. 3.1 is the approval of the regular minutes for July 7, 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. 3.2, approval of the minutes for July 7, 2014. That was a special meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions or corrections? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And the last set is 3.3 for the minutes of July 9th, 2014, public hearing / special meeting.
Move their approval.
Second.
Any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Minutes are all approved. Item 4, Finance Director Sheila Volano. 4.1, received a monthly report from the Finance Director, and that would be for June. And Sheila, that would be for our final month. Good
Yes,
morning.
Good morning. Well, yes, it's for June, but it's preliminary June because, as you know, we go through the month of July and into the very beginning of August to actually clean up all the bills that come in for the month of June, actually. And the revenue for the tax office and youth and family services and the ambulance fire department revenue goes through the month of July as well. So this is preliminary, and I've done a lot of work this year earlier than other years to try to get you a projection, and also because we are having rating agency meetings this week in anticipation of the bonds that we're going to issue in August. So we wanted to have pretty good numbers for them as well. So we will start with revenue. We've collected over 100% of our budget, 100%.
0.24, yeah.
0.24.
Great.
Last year, we were 99.99. We had a good year last year as well in revenue. But actually, if you look at the state, with the state revenue included, it's 107% of our revenue budget. Now, I can just reiterate a few things that I've said all year just to explain why. On the state side, well, our surplus is $470,000 at this point. And 270 of that was due to the state grants that were basically unanticipated at the time our budget was put together. There were 2 grants that were approved by the state after our budget was already approved, and there was about 70,000 or so on the education side for the prior year excess cost adjustment that worked in our favor. So those contributed to the surplus. And then tax collections are over by 166,000. Tax collections have been strong all year. I don't think it's a matter of timing at this point.
Why is it over? Is it because of back tax in there? Or?
No, it's because, back tax is in there, so we didn't collect more than we
That's what I
billed.
mean,
Yes,
yeah.
it's back tax, interest, and liens.
Okay.
But, we try to be somewhat conservative when we budget, we're taking into account for corrections and
Yeah.
Board of Assessment Appeal reductions, which happens after our budget is put together. And then we don't budget for supplemental motor vehicle taxes, which we don't ever do that. That's a conservative way to make sure we meet our budget. We just had a strong year. And it will most likely be better. Now, there is one small adjustment that I may make. I have to check it with the state. There was a municipal revenue cost-sharing grant that I was told last year we were going to receive, so I accrued that for last year, and it's still showing as open. I don't think we're going to get it. There was a little bit of controversy on the state side with this grant, so that will get netted against the surplus here, but still, it's a very positive number. Okay, questions?
Yeah, Sheila, on the, on the revenue, we still have one more month, correct me if I'm wrong, for tax, for ambulance, and for youth and family services, is that correct?
Right,
So this number will only get better?
right.
Okay. Okay, good. It's the only question I have at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that it will be better, and that if I have to make that $100,000, it's like $102,000 adjustment, it really will show minimal impact, because you'll remember the 470.
Mm-hmm. And just for clarification, when you say state grants, these are really not, these are not the grants for projects and stuff like that. This is just the state funding.
Oh, right,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Expenditures. We've obligated 95.9%, as compared to 95.3% last year at the end of June preliminary report. It's really not a meaningful number at this time to compare last year because now it becomes a timing of when we closed. We had about $400,000 of encumbrances last year. We canceled many of them early this year, so we're down to 133,794. There are a few departments that have gone over. I haven't done the transfers yet. I will do those next month, because there's still activity that occurs, even if it's as much as $50, and I do a transfer now and then it goes over, I have to do another one. So I prefer to wait until the next meeting and get it all done at one time. I can tell you that there's going to be one bigger transfer, and that's going to be in legal. We do have the June bill. We just got it. For June. It's about $24,000. So we will.
It's not in here.
It's
for
not
Congress.
here, no. So legal at this point is over by 58,000. I have another 24 or so. So we'll make sure that that's accurate, and then you'll see a transfer from contingency next month. I booked the payroll accruals, so those are here, and what's happened is departments that were close in their budgets show a small overage, and that's one day. And I think we're going to be a little bit more careful when we put our budgets together, that we don't budget for just 52 weeks of salary, because we actually record each day to the right fiscal year. So some departments have overages in their salary lines, and it's because of the 52 weeks in one day. And that's what the auditors like to see, is the exact allocation to the correct fiscal year.
That's a question I had when I reviewed this. Is usually we're right on with the payroll, and I noticed that some were a couple $100 over, under, and
It's exactly one day.
yeah, okay, well, that answers that question. Okay.
So we still have some bills, obviously, that will be paid, some utility bills that aren't encumbered. There's some allocations we have to do for fuel. But right now, we are showing a surplus of 1.2 million, 1,275, 311. And we have actually some plans for some of this. So this deficit is, surplus is going to be,
Yeah, let's make sure we get the right
surplus
terminology here. Yeah.
is going to be reduced slightly. It's a great number, but you'll notice on the front page that we have $400,000 remaining in debt service interest, and that was budgeted because we weren't sure at the time if we were going to need any money for notes that we would issue for the high school, and we didn't need it. We'll need it in fiscal 15. We have money budgeted, and we'll need money 15, and then obviously going forward. But what we plan to do here is set this aside in a debt service reserve fund to mitigate future debt service on the high school bonds. We're issuing bonds actually next month. And because the interest rates are so low, we're going to try to take advantage of issuing not just notes, but actually locking in and issuing bonds. But what's going to happen is we're going to have to pay some interest earlier than we thought back in 2011. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the $400,000 if it's approved by the Board of Finance to offset that increase. And basically, it won't show as an increase at all. It'll wipe out whatever we're going to have to pay in interest for fiscal 15. That's the plan. So we're hoping to issue $26 million in bonds for the high school, and then also some notes. And then there are other departments here, for example, capital. Capital shows $153,000 left. We still have to get the departments. There are a few encumbrances that have to be placed because there's just a few projects left, but they're going to be spent. They're kind of through the purchasing cycle, but haven't made it to the purchase order stage yet. So you'll see those will be encumbered. So that balance of 153 will not show as a surplus. As I said, the contingency will be reduced because there'll be a transfer to legal, and the legal bill of $24,000 is not here at all. So that will be a reduction. And there are a few other, things that will reduce this. But all in all, we're going to see a fairly healthy surplus, which will make the rating agencies happy because they want to see us increase our fund balance.
Just a word about legal, that this was not all of the expense of the legal department. The majority of the legal cost was because of negotiations and arbitration expense. This was a heavy year for negotiations and arbitrations with our majority of our labor unions. Okay. So that's where the bulk of the expense was.
I want to make one more comment on the surplus. One of the other factors that contributed is some FEMA money that we actually got this year that was from prior years that I accrued quite a bit of it, but some of it I wasn't quite sure if, I don't want to book a receivable if I'm not 100% certain that we're going to receive it. So I was a little conservative on some of them, and we actually did get paid. So it went into this year's FEMA line. So that also helped us in terms of the surplus.
And again, like I've said in the past, I don't want to leave this discussion without complimenting our department heads. They've done a fantastic job in controlling their budgets. This town has excellent department managers, and they don't just spend the money that they're allotted to. They manage the money that they're budgeted for. And if they don't need to spend it, they don't spend it. And again, they've done a fantastic job. So, thank you all. Sheila, did you want to talk about, first of all, there's no more question on expenses. I'd like you to address the medical benefits account, okay?
Okay.
I don't want to cut the board off. Are there any questions on expenses? No. Okay.
All right.
Because that leads into the next
Yes.
subject, which
Okay.
we have to address, yeah.
So last month, I brought my report from last month. I guess I knew Gary was not going to be here today, so I have everything in order. I projected a June month, based on the 12-month rolling average that I use of $1,034,000 in claims for June. And June actually came in at $981,000, so it was a little bit less. And that's probably because the stop loss had kicked in for, a few of the claims, which we'll talk about in a second. So last month we projected a $500,000 deficit in the medical benefits, and it actually came out to be a little less. On your report, you see the deficit of $166,000. $166,125. Well, that's because we actually charged, based on the Board of Ed's recommendation and approval, I guess, $250,000 to the Board of Ed for an additional contribution into the medical benefits fund. So that's reflected here on this report. You can see on the bottom of the page under fiscal 13-14 revenue, June, the amount is $250,000 higher than May. That's the Board of Ed's additional contribution. So that helped reduce what we showed as a $500,000 deficit last month to $166,125 this month. So it's a combination of we did a little better than anticipated, and the Board of Ed made an additional contribution. But we had a $224,000 deficit fund balance as we started the fiscal year. So at this point, we are still in a deficit position of $391,000. And we don't have the change in the IBNR for fiscal 14, so that could change as well. We don't get that until August or September usually. But we know that we need to have a plan. We've talked about this before, and in fact, I think we did have one in 2006, I think.
Yeah.
Again, we're focusing on the rating agencies. We want a good report, and they like to see that we have a plan in place, that we recognize where we have a problem, and that we address it and we formalize it. So to that end, I created a deficit reduction plan with 2 options, and there could be more. These are just my suggestions. I wanted to show them, first of all, that really the deficit would have been $416,000 for this year, and that we already addressed $250,000 of it. I didn't want to show them just the one.
Board of Ed.
Yes, I want, because if that has to be highlighted to them. So we've already, in essence, started the plan, but we still need to memorialize it. So we've already completed in both option 1 and 2 the $250,000, but now we still have $391,000 remaining to make up. So I think a lot has to be based on the final results of this fiscal year that, when we close out. So there's 2 alternatives here on this proposal. One is we can take $150,000 out of the remaining surplus in fiscal 14, and then $100,000 in fiscal 15, which we don't have budgeted for, and then the remaining in fiscal 16, which we can budget for, $141,000. So that gives us a $641, which was the deficit that we would have had if the Board of Ed didn't put in the $250. Or we've already done the $250. This is option 2. We can just take the full $391,000 out of our surplus, which we most likely, based on these numbers, will have available, and clear it all up in basically one year. The rating agencies will love that. Do we anticipate an upgrade? Most likely not, but they still will, look very favorably on that, and may help us next time because we're continuing strong financial trends.
The concern I have going into 15, 14, 15 is that, I'm sorry, 15, 16 is that, there's nothing to say that we won't, I think by us, reducing the cap, it'll help us, but I'm concerned that what if we have a deficit? You know what I mean? Like, I would be in favor of considering the surplus, taking it from your option 2.
Yeah.
But that's
Is
just
there any
my-
downside to taking it from the surplus?
No, what would happen?
No.
No, not at all. No.
I think the only thing would be, it'd be less going to fund balance.
Right.
But I would agree with Cindy, and that we just wipe it out right now.
Yeah,
Be
but
done
like you
with it.
said, it'd be
Yeah.
less. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be that there would be nothing going towards fund balance. It would-
Right. Now,
We would have less of a surplus.
Yeah,
yes.
and I feel just take care of it now.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's, you took the hit now, let's pay for it.
But we don't have to make that decision today.
No, I will present it to the Board of Finance. We have a rating call this afternoon, so
That's right,
I do
yeah.
want to have something, at least a consensus agreement, if not, formalized, that, and we'll send them this plan. But I think they're going to understand that we're right at the end of the year. I really do want to wait until we really close out to report to you, okay, this is what our surplus is going to be with, and then transfer the entire amount.
Yeah, and don't forget, we still have another month of collections for taxes, ambulance, and youth and family services too.
Yeah.
So I think we just get rid of it. That's my opinion.
I think that's the right thing to do. So, I would be very happy to tell the rating agent Fitch this afternoon that, we have your consensus, and we won't have a consensus of the Board of Finance because they meet tonight, but you usually are all on the same page, I think.
Carl, do you have any?
Yeah, no, I'm in favor of that also.
Okay. Anything else on this? I know we skipped to 4.3, we can talk about 4.2, your transfer, so.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you that, because we've talked about this every month, the catastrophic claims were, the claims that were over the 50%, which was the 112,500, 50% level, were $3.4 million. Out of 12 million, that's 25%. It's big. And 664,000 were over, the stop loss covered.
Okay.
Now, those claims start all over again, and many, we're going to keep an eye on them to see actually which ones start over, and if they reach the stop loss at $150,000, that will give us an indication that we most definitely made the right choice with the lower stop loss.
And that's another issue, is that starting July 1, we went to the lower stop loss too.
Right. That's- yeah.
Okay, did you had nothing on the agenda, discuss and take possible action on transfer recommendations to the Board of Finance.
Yes, I did include the NAGE labor contract.
Okay, so this would require a,
Recommendation to the
Yeah,
Board of Finance.
right, so you want to talk about that?
Well, I briefly talked about it last month, and I know that Mitch gave you a synopsis of the contract. But at the time, I don't think it had been fully executed. So now this is the formal transfer from reserve personnel, $14,626, to police personnel and communications personnel. Police was $1,672, and communications $12,954.
Okay,
And that's for fiscal 14.
okay. Somebody want to make that in form of a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconds. Yeah.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Is there anything else, Sheila?
I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. Do this all over again tonight. People find it. Great. Item 5, Board of Education, Director of Operation and Facilities, Cliff Kernan. Discuss and take possible action to purchase instrument cubbies and cabinets for Adams Middle School off of the state contract for In-School Corporation. Good morning.
Good morning, how we doing?
Good, how you doing? How are your projects going?
We're moving.
I see they're tearing up all the entranceways.
We have a very busy summer, and they're doing a great job.
They
We
are.
have run into some additional asbestos concerns
So
at
I heard.
Adams,
Yeah,
but we're moving forward on that. So we still anticipate holding schedules
great.
to have all the schools open on time. So we're excited about that.
Just a word to the public, and you could chime in on this before we get to your item, is that because of the tragedy at Sandy Hook, is the enhancements, I call them enhancements, or the amount of additional work that the school and with the support of the town, of course, and the capital improvements that we have had to do, and the additional expenses we have to incur is way beyond anything we anticipated
Correct.
years ago. So that's another reason we have to go out to bond and acquire more capital.
Yes.
But no one can argue that we cannot do these things. We have to do these things.
In the best interest of the students
And the staff, yeah.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
okay,
Good.
doing a good job on that. Good.
Thank you.
All right.
So today, hopefully this will be the last approval I will ask for summer projects.
You're running out of time.
I'm getting shorter and shorter. So we are looking at replacing the cubbies and cabinets that are located in both the band room and the storage room. The existing cabinets are 20-plus years old, very worn out, have various different problems, including broken wood panels, the backs have fallen off, and just general wear and tear. So we went ahead with the staff from Adams, including the principal and the music teacher, and evaluated what they had, did some minor redesign based upon the types of instruments that they have and they're using. We reorganized the room a little better so that the instruments themselves are located more appropriately based upon types. So we did come up with design, and we went to the state contract, and there is a vendor that was highly recommended to us to do this project. So we're looking to move forward with those upgrades. The project has gone through the Standing Building Committee and has been reviewed by them as well, and was recommended to come here for further approval. The work is hopefully going to be scheduled the second or third week of August. So we've already been in communications with the company, and they can do that work. So we have full intentions of getting it done prior to school opening. So we're looking for the board to approve and award the installation of the cubbies in the cabinets at Adams Middle School to Insalco Corporation out of Wallingford in the amount of $51,769.01. It's coming from a referendum back in 2014, where we have $135,000 originally dedicated for the project. This is phase one of the project. Phase two will happen next year.
What is phase two? Let me ask.
Phase two is there's other areas that need custom cabinetry. Everything we're doing this summer is basically a prefabbed cabinet. So we're getting those installed first, and then all the custom cabinetry will come second next year.
Will that also be at Adams?
Yes,
Okay. And these are all from musical instruments, I assume?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. It's harder with the larger instruments,
Tubas and... yeah.
well, even the drums and things of that nature, cymbals and things of that nature, yeah.
I'll move that we approve the award of supplying installation of instrument cubbies and cabinets at Adams Middle School to Insalco Corporation for the total sum of $51,769.01.
And 1 cent.
Yeah.
Don't forget the penny.
Oh,
I'll second it.
Okay, and that's off the state bid.
Correct.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, good. That was easy today.
Thank you.
You're good. This is your last one for the summer, right?
That's it.
All right. Item 6, Fire Chief Marshal Charles Hirschhef, consider take possible action to purchase Scott Air cylinders from Shipman's Fire Equipment sole source. Morning, Chief.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're here to buy 41 air cylinders from Shipman's Fire Equipment for a total of $27,999.72. So I turned back some money from the $28,000. Shipman's is the sole source vendor for these cylinders, and these are the only cylinders we can use on our air packs. You can't put a Ford engine in a Mercedes. So basically, that's what we have to do.
Right, and these are the,
This capital money.
yeah, no, I know that, okay. And these are the cylinders that the firefighters wear.
Right, on their backs.
When they go into a structure fire and that sort of thing. Okay.
Hazardous conditions.
Okay.
I move that we purchase this 41 Scott Air cylinders from Shipman Fire Equipment for $27,999.72.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Took 3 this weekend? Took 3? Yes. Okay, I don't see town engineer. Is he on his way, you know, Trace? No? Okay, we'll move along to, I'll hold up on item 7. I don't see the town engineer. We'll move to item 8. Appointments and resignations. We have 2. 8.1, act on a recommendation to appoint Cello to the Board of Police Commissioners to fill a vacancy for a term to expire June 30th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item 8.2, act on a recommendation to appoint Mike Mickelay to the Board of Police Commissioners to fill a vacancy for a term to expire June 30th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 8, request for the use of town property. There's only one, 9.1, act on a request from Yale New Haven Hospital to place a sign on the green advertising its charity, bike race taking place on September 16, 2014. Sign placement 8:15 to 8:29.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, correspondence, Public Works Department monthly report 10.1, and the building officials monthly report 10.2. Is in your packet. Is there any comments or questions?
Nope.
Anybody? No? Okay, we'll move along. Item 11, committee reports. Any? Do you have anybody? No? Okay. 375 is just about winding down, I guess.
Just about winding
Do
down. We
have
got the parade that we're
parade
still working
coming
on.
on,
I secured a couple more drum corps this weekend. We're working on one more.
It's gonna be a long parade, Carl.
Yeah.
You'll have to borrow his earplugs there. Well, that's good, that's great. It's hope for good weather.
Yeah.
Any old business? Okay, I have none. New business? Nope. Public forum, limited to 3 minutes on any agenda item. Tracy, can you hold on for a second? Tracy's just trying to see if the town engineer is en route. If not, we can adjourn. We went through this quicker than I thought we would.
Okay. So you want to take a break?
Yeah. Well, just hold on for 5
Okay.
minutes.
I,
Hold on for a second, Mike, okay?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
the same.
pause it, okay? Yeah.
I meant for him to pause it. not-
Okay, we'll go back to item 7, Town Engineer Jim Portley. Morning, Jim.
Good morning, sorry I'm late.
All right, we went a little quicker than we thought. Discuss 7.1, discuss and take possible action to award milling of Ridgefield Circle to Garrity Asphalt Reclaiming under state bid 12 PSX 0390.
As you all remember, we put in the capital budget this year, repaving of this road. We looked at two options. One was to take the road and mill the top surface off, and the other was to reclaim the whole road. Looking at it with the time allowed and with the money available, it's a lot easier and cheaper for us to just mill the top inch off, inch and a half, and then repave. So that's what I am recommending we do. Garrity Asphalt has the state bid under contract number 12 PSX 0390, and their price is $9,202. And I recommend the Board of Selectmen engage Garrity to do the work.
Do we have a motion?
I'm trying to find it on my thing. Does somebody have it?
Yeah, right here.
yeah.
Right here.
What, the number, whatever, he's got it, okay.
Okay.
I'll move that we accept the bid for Garrity Asphalt Reclaiming, state bid 12 PSX 0390.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You vote?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Jim, 7.2, consider and take possible action to award paving of Ridgefield Circle to Tilcon under state bid 13 PSX 0300.
Just as a follow-up on the last item, we do have a quote of $40,600.47 under the noted bid number. It's within our budget. I recommend the Board of Selectmen award it to.
So I'll move this
Can I
number
get-
13 PSX 03 and awards to Tilcon in the amount of $40,647.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Jim, obviously, we don't have any of this equipment, so that's why we're going out
That's correct.
to do this stuff, okay? All right, how much linear feet does this cover?
Which, are we talking about
Ridgefield Circle.
Ridgefield? It's about 900 feet, I believe.
Is it? I thought it was
You know,
more than that.
You know, it's, trying to see what it would be. I don't have it right in front of me, so you know. But just looking at the curbing, it's 2,000, if we would have put in 2,000 feet of curb, 2,100 if we took it all out. So that's about 1,000
Okay.
feet long.
And
And
that's
because the
a,
circle is a little more, so I would say between 900 and
that's a
1,000.
cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
too. Okay. All right. 7.3, discuss and take possible action to award shimming and leveling of town roads in preparation for chip sealing to Tilcon on the state bid 13 PSX 0300. The same bid then.
Yes, it's
But this
a
is
bit-
not for Ridgefield, this is
This is
other
for-
roads that we're gonna chip seal. Correct.
Right. This is preparation, you know. We're starting this week to prepare all the roads that we were going to be chip sealing this year. Our start date for chip sealing is August 18th. We want to get the patching in time so that all the volatile organics, all the emulsions, everything will evaporate in the heat of summer, and then it'll make a better job when we chip seal. So by doing this work couple of weeks before, and hopefully we'll get it done this week, then we will get a better job out of the chip sealing. So, as I said, we're starting our own work. We have a lot of roads we're going to do this year. We'll be preparing a lot of them ourselves, but there are two extremely poor roads. One is Norton Town, south of Murray Lane, almost all the way down to where it comes into Opening Hill. The gutters are washed out. Because of the rains and the severe winter, we had a lot of gutter washout this year. And so we want to do it and prepare it properly so we'll get, a good life out of that road. It's a fairly heavily used road in some respects. It's not to the point where it will be in the future when they open up the exit 60. But it's the east side of town. It does get a lot of traffic. And we think it's worth the investment at this point in time to just prepare it properly, shim and level it. And the other road is Bluff View Drive, which is up at Bluff Head. The road was put in about 35 years ago, and it really has had no attention. And it's time that we do a little bit more than just sweep it. So we want to shim and level it, and then pave it, and we'll seal it. All the drainage is in up there, so it'll give us a much longer life on that road.
I was going to ask the question, but you might have answered it. You're going to have to raise any catch basins for that?
What we're going to do is we'll put some inserts in where we need to. The inserts are just, you take the grate off and you take a frame and you put it down within the frame of the existing catch basin, and then you put the grate back in. So we don't have to take all the catch basins out.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve that bid?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And the last one, consider and take possible action to set the date of August 13th, 2014, 7:30 PM at the Community Center for Public Information Meeting on the Shoreline Greenway Trails. We're finally getting to that point
We're
now.
getting to that point. We have all the DOT comments from all the various departments, so we're addressing those in preparation of this meeting, and then we can,
And we had our archaeological study,
archaeological
Indian
study,
study, we're all set.
we're all set.
Okay, okay. This is just an approval of a meeting date of August 13th, 2014. What day is that? Anybody know?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, thank you. Do I have an approval?
Motion to
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All right, thank you, Jim.
Jim, I just want to say, I've been down the Old Quarry Road several times. The guys are doing a really great job down there.
They are.
It's a
Thank you, Carl.
big job.
Thank you. These guys, and the folks down there are really appreciative. It's coming out well.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's kind of a fun job to be working on too. It beats sweeping roads and doing this. You really have a feel that you're doing more than just maintaining things. So
Well, it's
that's
a
really
fine
good.
example of what Guilford Public Works can do and do well, and at the same time save the town money. It's very good.
Thank you.
Big job.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to ask you a question after the meeting.
Sure. Oh, okay, sure.
Sawmill Bridge.
Any further business to come before the board? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you, everybody.